Hello, interwebs, 'tis I, Sebastian, and this is F3G2, coming at you semi-live, recorded from the back of Famous Faces and Funnies, and get your fun on, and you can watch this on the Tube of You, or GonnaGeek.com. Where is it? If you can find it anywhere else, that's crazy. Why the hell would somebody steal this show? I don't even know why we do it, much less why Steve hosts it.
Between 1 Thursday?
I think we do it so that we can say hi to Peter Palmiotti and Dennis Strasberg. Hey Peter, hey Dennis.
That's good enough reason.
Yeah, that's it. This is so they have background noise while they're going about their day. Peter, the pictures arrived yesterday, so they're up for the raffle. So if you want to, if you're local and you want to come in for the ongoing raffle that goes through July 25th and 26th to help raise funds for my sister who's battling Lyme disease. We now have a gorgeous Peter. This is gorgeous Peter Palmiotti Bright Eyes page, and he sent like a whole bunch of stuff. I couldn't even pick anything. I'm not good at decisions, so they're all just up there. A couple other sketches, some prints, little postcardy things, trading cards, all sorts of great stuff. Including some stuff with Jim Calafiore, because he and Peter have worked on a bunch of things. So if you're in the area, come on in. There's that and a shit ton of other prizes, and you can be working for a good cause. Now, working for a completely selfish cause, I'm going to talk to you about the books that I read. In fact, it's not even a selfish cause or a selfless cause. It's a just cause. Not meaning that I have a good reason. I'm doing it just cause. And first up is Superboy, that I had to hunt down the last copy because they put it in the damages because Jared is anal retentive, and as you can see, this cover is a little folded right there. All right, and nobody cares.
People care.
Nobody cares. I bought it. I dug it out of the thing because it was the last copy left. As I keep telling you, ever since Aaron Kuder and What's Jimenez's first name? It's not that Jimenez. So it's like a. Where do they hide the title pages in a DC comic these days? Oh, at the back. All right, it's Jorge. All right, so Jorge Jimenez and Aaron Kuder have been kicking ass in the Too Little Too Late Superboy, because basically the impression I get from interviews I've read with him and from conversations I've had in basically little retweets with Aaron Kuder is that he knew going in that this was going to be the end of the book. He was getting to write the last story. So it seems that I don't understand. This book went through such crap that people were like, okay, yeah, let's keep it going and see if this fixes it. And it was just suddenly they decided. By the time they finally said enough is enough, let's end it, suddenly they got the story that they should have done in the first damn place. And it's awesome. We've got an army of Superboys. In fact, they're messing with timelines and have discussed better time travel theory than you normally read in comics. Well done, Aaron Kuder.
Even Legion?
And I read Legion, and Booster Gold is one of my favorite fucking characters. But this is some great time description. Time isn't... In fact, oddly enough, almost at the same time, the same time travel theory is discussed by Franklin Richards in Avengers, and we'll get to that. The whole time is an organism kind of deal. Only this gets more intricate. He gets more metaphysical with the, fate is whatever. This gets more, time's not like a string, and you start at one end and go to the other. Time's not like a, coiled up string like they think with the infinite possibilities. Time itself is an organism, and we're, our lives, we're just like little blood cells in an organism, and we go through, and maybe we're in the heart. So that's why there's all these different possibilities. You could be the heart, the leg, the whatever, and it's a bigger scope than you'll ever see in every little decision, and it creates a possible timeline and does whatever. But there's a million Superboys. We get the return of Connell, because he, and it gets headachy. It gets like Doctor Who wibbly wobbly in here. Occupying one reality and forming this one kind of glowing Superboy are Connell and Jonathan Lane Kent. However, there's two Jonathan Lane Kents, because since the Jonathan Lane Kent that we've been following so far has started to learn and become more maybe killing everybody isn't the solution. This guy who raised me was lying. But he was sent back in time to a point where there's still a him in a stasis tube. So now there's two Jonathan Lane Kents, the one who has learned beyond his initial brainwashing, and the one who's just freshly brainwashed and waiting to come out and kill everything. And it gets complicated from there. But it is so damn good. The art is great, the story is great, and it even takes a shot at, yes, you've got that Leash character from Nowhere that was in all that. All of these Nowhere characters are either recycled 90s characters or brand new characters that were clearly designed with the 90s in mind. Right? That was one of the big beefs people have had with, a lot of this New 52 stuff seems 90s. Lobdell hit his peak in the 90s and clearly was just recapturing the 90s when he went. But they address that here with, he comes out making a 90210 reference, and one of the other guys is like, 90210? When did you first get put in your cryo tube? And he's like, 97. Why? And the other guy's like, oh, sure, okay. Explains the headband, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. It works within the continuity, and it gives us a nod to, okay, you're right. This does look very 90s, but there's a reason. Crack me up, gave me that. Amazing Spider-Man Learning to Crawl, number 1.3, is still okay. This one was a little better, but it's taking a little too many liberties with the Peter Parker origin in early years. And, okay, we get that Peter Parker was a pompous ass, let a guy go, he killed his uncle, and then from there he's been great responsibility, great power, with great power comes great responsibility, atoning. Peter's more of a dick, thanks to this. Not like a, outright young Flash Thompson dick, but more of a thoughtless dick, where everything he does kind of, he's just...
I thought the game
doing his own thing, and everything's kind of being, he's a dick. And it sort of changes, like, his motivation. He doesn't initially go out and become a hero. He literally just goes out to take pictures, and as Spider-Man, he can get to places that other people can't, and then he ends up in fights, and he's like fighting supervillains on accident. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Goes against the character.
However... this should be the whole review. Spider-Man 2099, number 1, by Peter David.
Moving on.
What the fuck else do you need to know? This is awesome. Beyond awesome. Also, it is ridiculously awesome. Liz Allen, starting to figure out a little too much for her own good. There's this guy who comes back. His whole job is to erase. You want to talk time travel? He's from further into the future. He's like from the year 2411. He's from Totem, which stands for I don't remember what.
He's a good actor.
It's the time... Oh, man, he explains it somewhere, and I'm never going to find it on time in purpose. In time, on purpose. However, his job is to fix anomalies such as people traveling through the already broken time stream. However, and Miguel calls him out on it and goes, wait, he's like, oh, so you're here to send me back? He goes, no, I'm here to erase you from the time. He goes, you have the technology, couldn't you just, I didn't mean to come here, I'm stuck here, can't you send me home? He goes, no, he goes, doesn't that make no sense? He goes, yeah, he goes, it's just the way the law's written. He goes, I know it's stupid, but this is the way it is. He goes, you're going to have to talk to a lawyer. It's one of those, you have to go to the future to talk to the lawyer about the guy you can't get to anyway. So it's crazy, but so well done. And, yeah, Peter David on Spider-Man 2099. All is well. All is well. All is not well in the nearing the end of Huntress and Power Girl, World's Finest, number 25. By the end, they make it home. All right, this cover makes it look like, oh, look, make it home reunion. None of that shit happens. They don't get back till the very end. But they're getting back to their war-torn, apocalypse-dominated,
Earth 2.
evil, mind-controlled Superman Earth 2. That's a hell of a thing. This is like their last big bang, and they tie up all their loose ends on this Earth. The art in here is Tyler Kirkham with Joe Weems and Art Thibert on ink, and Arif Prianto is the colorist. Fucking bang up job. This book is gorgeous. gorgeous. Okay? There you go. Amazing X-Men. First, it gives me back Nightcrawler. Then they give me a story that guest stars Alpha Flight and has Wendigos. This is the best X book in the history of ever. Ever. Also ever. They are really... We know they're killing Wolverine, right? Every book with Wolverine in it is ham-fisting. There's no subtlety to this coming. Everybody is constantly, you have Colossus. Yeah, I am worried, Tovarish, but for the first time, I'm not worried for myself. For the first time ever, I'm worried for Logan. Everybody's worried about Wolverine. In every book that Wolverine's in, everybody's, you got Storm. Listen, old man, sit yourself down. You don't heal like you. I don't worry about me. Don't worry. Everyone, it's like some comics. Everyone's job is, exposition. No, in this one, everyone is foreshadowing. Just like painting little skull and crossbones on Wolverine while he's sleeping. He's getting that, However, that said, that's not a this book problem. That's of the entire Marvel universe. Apparently, everyone decided to, I'll factor that into my story, but none of them realized that since Wolverine is in 62 books a week, that means if you read a lot of those books, you get punched in the face with the Wolverine is mortal more times than is natural in human conversation or mutant conversation. Anywho, it's really, really good. We got some Alpha Flight. We get a little Avengers. They got to deal with some skirmish on the border. Nobody wants Canadian Wendigos storming into northern United States, and nobody wants that. Apparently, nobody bothers going to protect the Canadian border, though. The Canadian border to Alaska. I guess screw Alaska. They just want the main states. And Hawaii's like, we're safe. Unless those bitches can swim. We are America. So that's interesting. Avengers Undercover. Oh man, this book is good. For a guy named Hopeless, he's awesome. It's like he's got an ironic last name. You've got Cammy and I forget her boyfriend's name. You've got, what really made me happy is you've got Hank Pym pissed off that, hey, we're Avengers. We break the rules all the time. Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. aren't going to get these kids back because they're with, they're wanted felons. They on the live TV, they killed Arcade. Or did they? This issue may raise that and put that into question. But they're in a sovereign nation, so they can't just go invade and get these kids back. And Hank Pym's pissed off, going, really? He's like, we did this to them. Well, we suddenly we all follow rules. Cap, you remember the Civil War? S.H.I.E.L.D., you break rules all the goddamn time. Why is it we can't help these kids who we already failed? He's like, because Hank Pym was their teacher. At least for some of them, he'd met pretty much 80% of the kids involved, and he was the teacher for the, not Young Avengers, for the Avengers Academy. One of his students died in the first issue of the other book. So he's rightfully, and it's good to see that he's still, fighting that. Batman Eternal. Ooh. Penguin goes badass, feral. Only it doesn't work so well. Well, it works for what he's trying to do. Penguin takes the fight literally to Falcone and is going to get everything back. He's like foaming at the mouth in his dirty, underneath his tux undies, like the Batman movie Penguin. But alas, it's all part of an elaborate plan by...
Catwoman?
No, what's his name? Is it Bard? Jason Bard? Jason Bard. However, New 52 Jason Bard plays a little rougher than Batman would like, and he's like, 12 people died because of the way your plan went, and he's like, look, Gotham's changing. This is the way we got to do this if we want this stuff to work. And Batman's like, does his little disappearing thing. So there could be, Commissioner Bard in Gotham's future. And we get a lot of soul searching from under arrest ex-Commissioner Gordon. So who's now the latest? He's now going to be only the. They need him in jail. Batman has, look, I need you here because he's not going to be the only former police commissioner of Gotham City in prison. So Batman Eternal really kicking up the heat. Daredevil number 5. What happened to Foggy? The story of Foggy Nelson's faked death from Foggy's point of view. Really, really good. And it's great because you get to see how, he does a great job of portraying that being friends with Daredevil is cool, and Matt, he knows Matt looks out for him, but it's a pain in the ass to be friends with Daredevil and Matt with the way he goes about things. So you get that kind of, you need to truly be friends with someone to, you know exactly why you should hate them, but you love them anyway. So that was really, really well done. Grayson. It's very pink.
Was it as bad as you thought?
No. Grayson number 1, for some reason, the worst part of this book was
The preview.
the preview pages. In fact, the same can be said when we get later up to Suicide Squad. So I'm hoping the same thing holds with, the Titans aid is making me crazy. They call us weapons. We call them tools.
Yeah.
And there's Robin all defiant, like burning a copy of Justice League number 1.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's better than nowhere. But I'm hoping that it's a little, that their tagline doesn't sum up the whole thing. But yeah, this was pretty good. We do get a really cool moment. You get Nightwing versus the Midnighter, which is a kind of cool fight. Although the Midnighter is part of where it lost me. I'm very big on dialogue. I like my dialogue to sound natural to the characters. All right? I love Peter David, but a lot of Peter David's dialogue is Peter David dialogue that, every character suddenly takes on a Peter David-esque personality. So that's fine. Tim Seeley here does a good job for the most part, but there was, a single part that it was a very formal method of speaking for Midnighter, and it just threw in, I don't see in the middle of a fight, Midnighter suddenly, being Mr. Grammar Nazi and saying, whom are you working for? It just threw the flow of the way that character should speak and sound in my head. Admittedly, I have problems. So it may not throw you as badly as it threw me, but it did. Art, gorgeous. Story, except for that part from the thing, which works better in a bigger context. I don't know why they made that the part they were gonna use, but so yeah, it's I'll give it a few more issues to take a look. I mean, the artwork is gorgeous, the everything is good, and there's a bigger agenda going on to why Dick is with Spiral, and it's just got shades of Checkmate all over the damn thing. Somewhere, I'm like, oh, thank God they sent Dick Grayson in on this, because they only just brought Ted Kord back into existence for the New 52, and this is the kind of shit that investigating gets Ted Kord shot in the head. So let Dick handle it, because Dan DiDio has already learned that, the entire our universe will rise up and kill. You can change the whole New 52, but every time Dan DiDio says, "Yeah, we're going to kill Dick Grayson," the entire universe rises against Dan. So Dick should be safe and not get shot in the head, a la Ted. He should be able to solve this,
or at least not fatally shot.
Yeah, he can get shot in the leg. Justice League United number 3, whole lot of artists. Is good. I'm liking this. It's not flowing as well, and the weird little black, white, and red panels don't work as well here as they do on Andrea. I don't remember his last name's art on Green Arrow. So those panels look just a little more jarring here because the other style, his style is dark and works with more of the moods. I love Mike McKone's art style, but it's too clean for this. it leaves it looking a lot emptier when they don't put the colors in, because he has such crisp, clean line work that it just looks less finished when they don't color it. You know what I mean? So there's that. But yeah, a lot of people have been, on the internet about this, but that's pretty much what the internet is for. I'm still digging it. So
Sadly true.
Lola, XOXO. It's like hugging kisses, manual. Number trace. This continues to be good. It's it's one of the only Aspen titles I read, but that'll change in October when Zoo Hunters comes out, because I really, 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 really want Zoo Hunters. But it's a it's like Mad Max and Firefly had a baby, because it's like a post-apocalyptic future that at this point has gotten up to, the technology has been rediscovered to about a Western level. There's some things that are a bit beyond, some things that are a bit below, but it's about it, like, the Old West level technology in their rebuild. And it's good. And right now there's a group that's trying to kidnap carnies and a group that's trying to save carnies. So really, it's not to love fair. Future's End. I forget the fake name he's been going by, but Tim Drake has been trying really, really hard to prove to everyone around him that he's not Tim Drake. But he can't help himself in his bar when he sees Terry McGinnis, displaced from the future, use that was a variation on the Tonga Death Strike. What do you know about the Tonga Death Strike? I know the man who came up with the Deathless variation. Dun dun dun. So Robin meets Batman Beyond. Red Robin meets Batman Beyond in a kind of standoffish, what's this going on kind of way. And that was about the best part of this. Whereas Batman Eternal as a weekly keeps upping it and getting me more and more involved each time. This one keeps doing little parts that make me go, ooh, and then the rest of it makes me go, also the mystery, it doesn't even deepen. The mystery around who's under the Superman armor pretty much gives us the outright, we'll let you know this. It's 99% not Clark in there. But still nothing that could give us any either way as to who. Also, they continue in this issue in one page. I keep saying that I used to like the character Plastique. I liked her in Captain Atom. I liked her when they used her in like Suicide Squad. But in this, they've made her a total idiot. She's seen the future dead Omacked version of herself. And now while they're talking about a plan, she's like rubbing her head. And they're like, what are you doing? And she's like, feeling my skull. You think it's metal? And then knocks herself in the forehead while the two of them give the key and I forget the other guy's name. Like Coil, give themselves looks of, and they just made Plastique from an espionage level Black Ops villain anti-hero character into a complete idiot who blows things up. And I think that was completely an unnecessary change.
Oh yeah.
New Suicide Squad was better than I feared it would be after I read the
Also horrible preview.
yeah, after I read the preview. Preview had some painful dialogue. Also, it does introduce Vic Sage. So we have a Vic Sage. Not acting anything like the Vic Sage I know or remember, but there's a Vic Sage. And this was pretty cool. I'm going to show you the last page because it's not really big spoilery, but it made me. And finally, they did a New 52 reimagining that I think looks. While I still love the classic look, this looks cooler. Meet the New 52 Rocket Reds.
Nice.
Though they have yet to call them that, but yeah, that's pretty damn cool. All right. I want one of them on a Justice League. Make it happen.
I'll be truthful. You want one of those suits.
Yeah. Nightcrawler continues to have the gorgeous art of Todd Knock and the it's issue number 4, and it ends this storyline. It ends it rather well. And I'm torn. On the one hand, I want to say that it does have that very stuck in the 1988 to 94 feel of Chris Claremont, but it has, on the plus side, it has that stuck in 1988 to 1994 feel of Chris Claremont, which is, it wasn't the peak of his. That was a little, that was like 84 to 98. No, it was like 84 to 94 was his peak. So we're coming in at the tail end, but yeah, it feels like a throwback in both a good and bad way, is I guess what I'm trying to say. The art is gorgeous. The story was solid, and the art. Oh. And I'm gonna be sad when Wolverine dies, not because I give a crap about Wolverine, but because Chris Claremont writing that relationship between Wolverine and Nightcrawler as like an odd couple, best friends kind of, is great, and we get that. We haven't had it in years because Nightcrawler's been dead. Nightcrawler comes back, they're gonna kill Wolverine, so I'm savoring every minute of it I can get. The Royals, Masters of War, ends badly for pretty much everyone. The Enola Gay drops the bomb, but not where they do in the real world. Best part though is Prince Arthur of England, all drunk off his face now that his, family's in cahoots with the Nazi regime, but he's not thrilled. And then in walks Hitler, and he goes, "Ah, good, I'm glad you've come. You, the greasy fashion calamity who looks like an over-mothered pervert waiter. Father's in shock, and I'm really quite devastatingly parched. Go get us a fucking drink. There's a good little commoner."
Wow.
That's how you speak to Hitler. Love it. Well, and Hitler has no idea what to do. And since Hitler's not royalty, he doesn't have powers. So that's good. And then, the war comes to an end, as it were. Not well for anyone. Superman, Wonder Woman number 10, which is chapter 2 of the latest Doomed part. The Super Doom chapter 2, part of Superman Doomed. Doomed has gone on too long. If they'd shortened this, they could have made it a lot more powerful of an impact by stretching it out. As long as they have, they've stepped on their own toes too much. There's a lot of the same stuff happening, and a lot of the same scenes kind of redone, and it just seems all.
Yeah, because you were on board.
I was, and then now you've got the Brainiac Lois Lane. And this is Charles Soule, so I'm supposed to be all like, yeah! But this is Charles Soule working in a crossover, so there's a lot of ideas that aren't fully his, that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's doing the best he can with, but they're not.
Meshing?
At this point, I'm not rooting for Superman, I'm not rooting for Lois Lane or Wonder Woman. None of them. Nobody. This is bringing out the best in no one. I'm actually kind of hoping that, he doomsdays out and just kills everybody and then declares Mulligan and we start over with Superman number 1. Because it is a great way to make me really love the Jeff Johns, John Romita Jr. Superman, because it has nothing to do with this. Thor and Loki, the 10th Realm, number 1, otherwise known as Original Sin 5.1. This starts off we have there is another. You have a sister.
Oh, yeah.
Image Comics was wise to keep her from me. If she will not join the Valkyrie, then perhaps she will. So you get Angela, sister of Thor, and stepsister of Loki. The good part of this is it's written and done by the same group for the Loki Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it really feels like it works with that. The bad news is, again, I think a lot of what it's too decompressed. I think a lot of this, instead of making like a 3-part story out of this, we could have done it in one double-sized issue, and it would have had a better impact. It's good. It's just not as concise and powerful as it could be. All new X-Men. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving X books. I mean, Amazing X-Men is still my favorite for what they're doing, but Bendis is knocking it out of the park every time. I like this for the opposite reason I like Amazing X-Men. Amazing X-Men keeps touching on things I've missed about X-Men. Bringing back Nightcrawler. Going to Canada with Alpha Flight and some Wendigos. Everything that an X book, all the ingredients of a tried and true X book. Bendis adds new ingredients, throws out ingredients, shakes the whole bowl, and says, I don't know, I don't want to cook it at 400 for 35 minutes. What if we wrap it in foil and throw it on the grill and then, add a hollandaise? He's just making shit up, and it's really
Working.
It's good because, the X-Men for a while, the X-Men were so convoluted that, it had just, like a house of cards that fell in on itself, or like a flan that collapsed in the cupboard. But now it's, it's fresh again, so that's good. For Infinity Man and the Forever People, we meet the Infinity Man. It's number 2. He wasn't in the first one. They're just Forever People, but they have to merge to become an Infinity Man, and they didn't know that. However, this was, was good. The first one was good, but I was like, I could go either way. Oh, I'm going to be buying the trade, because I don't know how long he's on. Please keep him on there for a while. It's Dan DiDio and Keith Giffen writing. Last time Giffen was drawing it, but no, this time, yeah, Tom Grummett on pencils. So not only is Tom Grummett back drawing things in DC Comics, he's drawing Kirby-esque things in the DC universe. I am so happy I don't even have words.
Just make a squealy noise.
I just, things I never thought, kind of like, the buck, thanks, Easter Bunny. It's like, buck, thanks, Dan DiDio. Because that was good. Batgirl, number 33. Those threes. Batgirl, Black Canary, and Earth 2's Huntress. Earth 2's Huntress, very patient with a not-so-patient, stressed out, who the fuck are you? You must be a spy. I'm just going to hit first, ask questions later, Batgirl. While Black Canary does her best to go, normally Batgirl's the thinker and not a puncher. You don't judge her by this. And Black Canary's and Huntress is like, I haven't shot her yet, so I'm but my patience, there is a statute of limitations on my patience. I think that was a great line. But yeah, so you've got Huntress, Black Canary, and what do you call it? Huntress, Black Canary, and Batgirl, all written by Gail Simone. That's awesome. And you've got one of my favorite, Catharsis is flying around, who was in my late lamented
Green Team?
no, the other one, the Movement.
No.
But she started out in Batgirl, and so it's Gail Simone's got one of her little babies back in the fold. So it's good to see all the faces. The spread was really weird. This guy is No, N-O, and the baby is Hope. Together they are No Hope. Which is interesting. But he's No, he doesn't speak much, but mostly what he does is when things come to kill him, he says no. So he is eventually given the nickname No.
No.
The story is told from Hope's point of view. It's kind of saga-esque in that we're getting the baby's point of view from some point in the future, so we know that she's okay up until a point. But yeah, there's the spread. It's at first I thought it might be like almost zombie-esque, but no. Basically, this is Justin Jordan and Kyle Strom writing a worldwide epidemic a la John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh.
It's basically Justin Jordan writing Lone Wolf and Cub in John Carpenter's The Thing. Greatest mashup ever. That's all you need, interwebs. That's all you need. Alright. Dos Magnos. Alright, Magnus Robot Fighter number 0, Magnus Robot Fighter number 5. This takes place in between like issues 2 and 3. This takes place after issue number 4. Duh. This tells us Magnus has not been just he's not the robot hunter. He's a robot hunter. They have them periodically sent out by A1 to try and, take down the crazy society that as it has become. We also get basically the religion of the robots. So this is really explains a lot of how the world in here is working. In this, he's met his wife from the virtual reality who has no idea who the hell he is. And is married to somebody else. And doesn't trust him for shit. But then, ironically, while he's saving everybody, they steal her husband. And he blames himself because he did pause. Because there was that brief moment where he thought, if I just let them take him, then it's me and her. Only instead, she recruits him to go get her actual husband back. So he's not happy. But it's great, and really, it will surprise no one that I love Hater, H8R, the robot, the street-talking robot that has befriended Magnus since issue 1. And in the last issue was destroyed by all but his head, and is now just literally a little robot head and blinking eyes that Magnus wears on his belt, and he's talking to his belt again, because he just keeps having conversations with with Hater, who basically just loves to tell Magnus every time he screws up. So he's living up to his name. Really good. It's Fred Van Lente on Magnus Robot Fighter. Check that out. Avengers number 32, Original Sin tie-in, continuing in the future. We get Franklin Richards. We get an unexpected guest. They're on a spaceship garden thing. That's all that's left. It's betrayal plus 5,045 years. Franklin Richards is still alive because he can't die. We all know Franklin Richards gets all cosmic in the future. All right, and he's trying to explain the futility of what Captain America is trying to do to Captain America. In the end, they're standing in this garden by this, eons old tree that, provides all the food for, humanity doesn't have Earth anymore. They're in space, and there's an actual Avengers world. It's not just a comic, it's an actual world. The Avengers world with a big, AV logo on it. But in the end, they try to explain, and then Cap gets jaunted to his next stop, and it looks like Franklin's talking to himself as he says, do you think he heard what I was trying to tell him? But then the aeons old tree says, I am Groot.
No.
And that made me happier than any of the rest of this time jumping crossover. Captain Marvel number 5. How do I put this? Kelly Sue DeConnick's Captain Marvel is one of my favorite Marvel reads in years. The art on this is great, but Kelly Sue's writing, and I like saying Kelly Sue. Kelly Sue. It sounds like a comic book name. But Kelly Sue DeConnick just kicking ass on this. It is so. I don't think I've cared this much about Carol Danvers possibly ever. I mean, I thought she was cool when she was, for no reason, midriff having, I'm old. I'm 42. I'm old, all right? So, original Ms. Marvel. I like, and then she went through Binary and Ms. Marvel with the lightning bolt, and she called herself something else at one point, right? It wasn't Miss Marvel. It was, I don't remember. And
I
then
just remember Binary.
Warbird is it? And they kept trying all these ridiculous ways to make her relevant. And really, Kelly Sue DeConnick says, "Well, you don't have to make her relevant. She is. Let's just write her that way." And it's brilliant. And to you, Vibranium in space. There's a whole. It's good. There's like intrigue. I can't wait for the next issue. That issue ends with basically Captain Marvel, entire war fleet.
Oh.
I'm a little nervous for the war fleet. Original Sins. Charles Soule does the beginning story that kind of sets up, what's going on with where Black Bolt, his role in this, and why he's, where he's been, that he's not dead. But he introduced a character called Lineage. Basically, he's an Inhuman who, he looks blue to me, but they refer to him as purple. I don't know. I'm colorblind. But his whole power, he's got all these little faces on him. If you're an Inhuman, that is actually related to him. When
It's
you
a blue
die,
purple.
your soul shrinks down and manifests inside of him, and your face appears on his skin. You can have conversation. So he is the lineage. He literally can have conversations with all of his ancestors. So a guy dies and it shows up on his arm, and it turns out, oh yeah, he must be related to him. The other heads explain it to him, and that's the guy who had known what Black Bolt was up to. The Young Avengers story, I skimmed it. I don't even give a flying fuck. That's my review there. And then there's an odd little story of a guy. I guess it's like, all these little original sin peaks. This guy finds one of J. Jonah Jameson's original sin. It's a guy who gets fired because he was too good at his job, and when he was asked to compile all of the paper's earliest attacks on Spider-Man, he looked outside the editorial pages and finds a review from when Spidey was still doing shows on TV and whatever. And it's this whole brilliant write-up saying how amazing he is. For 1 solid hour, I was held mesmerized by his awesome insect-like acrobatics, his wondrous web spinning, and his hilarious one-liners and non-stop antics. Mark my words, true believers, I see nothing but sold-out shows for this costume cut-up, or my name isn't J. Jonah Jameson. So Jameson pops out and goes, "You're fired!" and burns the article. I was like, this never happened! So that's J. Jonah Jameson's original sin, is he liked Spider-Man before he became a hero. Original Sin crossover is Fantastic Four number 6 and 7. These two issues together were better than issues 1 through 5, but not enough to make me.
This is still the red suit.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four, right?
the red suits I'm fine with.
No, I'm saying it's that
Yeah,
run.
but it's that whole tearing down the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers show up to tell them you're not allowed in your and they're like, and again they get to throw out Captain America. It's like, oh, we're following rules now. Where was this stickler for rules attitude during the Civil War, Cap, and they're just
moving on.
Deconstructing the Fantastic Four has been done too many times and is not an effective. The Fantastic Four works best as the family, and you're tearing it all apart to go, oh, let's shake it up. Would be great if it wasn't the 33rd time we've seen it happen. All right. Superior Foes Spider-Man number 13. This book continues to be awesome. At this point, I would read an ongoing series of just Shocker and Silvermane's Head, because the two of them are the most brilliant, not buddy cop, let's go buddy villain duo I have ever met. Not that I've actually met them, but you know what I mean. Pathfinder number 3, shit's getting complicated. Somebody might be getting doppelganged, and things are getting rough for our heroes. I'm digging the Pathfinder stuff. It's got a little poster that I think the other side's the map. They pull out, but I don't like to pull them out because, that's not me. That is the same Magnus. It's in that twice. Alright, so Turok Dinosaur Hunter number 6. Really, really good. Turok finds the tribe of his family. He finds out where his parents were from and what happened to them. However, he finds out just in time to discover that the tribe that is his original family is at war with the clan of the girl he just met. So in 1 minute he went from a loner with no one to Romeo and Juliet at the peak of mommy and daddy's gang war. So,
oops,
that's rough. And they're both being groomed to be the generals for their individual peoples and lead the others to victory. So, she on her Pteranodon had to lead a bunch of people on giant or things, or those big prehistoric
terror birds.
Yeah, I forget what they were. They ran around the South America. And then he's got raptors and is going to train people to ride raptors, because why the hell not? And finally, we've got our trade that wraps up the end of Talon. One of my favorite new characters that they haven't done shit with since he ended. I was hoping to see more of him, and eventually maybe we will in Batman Eternal, but so far we haven't. This ends my favorite parts of the series, and then has the Tim Seeley story that was kind of funny but weird. And then the completely unnecessary and painful story by, what the hell's her name? Marguerite Bennett, who likes to try and write dark and creepy, but I don't know. She's done it for me on a couple of things, but this was not one of them. So this has some really great stuff, some pretty cool stuff, and a little bit in the middle that's kind of meh. So there you go. I bid thee adieu with the webs.